Alrighty, you guys, welcome back to a brand new Big Cherry Retro React here on
The ankle.
Hey Amber.
I hit you like I'm young.
Hello, honey. The ankle's a little mean.
So, good day everyone. I hope everyone's having a good one. Thank you so much for tuning on in. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, like and subscribe, become a top. So, little random side note. A decent amount of you guys enjoyed that fragrance review that I had posted over on the Guru review. It had been up for like a month or so over there. And there is a part 2. It's already posted there, but I'm thinking I'll post it over here as well. Might as well. I mean, I appreciate you guys enjoyed the video and whatnot. It's really just kind of like a vibe, sit down and yap. But yeah, I do appreciate it. So yeah, keep an eye out. The second one will be out over here later as well. Also, speaking of fragrance reviews, so I am waiting. I ordered specifically the Nosferatu perfume from Heretic, which is like licensed with the movie. I know there's some other Nosferatu like perfume oils and stuff out there circulating on TikTok. I haven't smelled those. I'm not going to yet, I guess, maybe, but I did get a sample of Heretic, so I would like to do the Nosferatu perfume and Nosferatu movie review all in one video, you know what I mean? And then I also have a werewolf perfume that I ordered from a really small company in Brooklyn, so that's why I'm trying to be really patient, but it's been like over 2 weeks since I placed the order. Eye roll, whatever. That sometimes happened with the company that I got the blood perfume from. I don't hold it against them, like, it's small time creators, you know what I mean? So it's give or take. You might have to wait a while or you might not. Also, sorry to yap, I got my hands on a sample of Inexcusable Evil and a few other I have to look up the specific perfumers, like Toshkov or something, but very niche, infamous kind of fragrance. So we're going to get to test that out and I'm excited. But sorry for yapping so much. For today's video, it's just one. We're just doing this one. It's a 19-minute long story time. So that's a bit better than a mukbang. I mean, she's going to be talking more. And it's titled, I Almost Died, Story Time. Is this going to be the time that she got cellulitis and refused to take any medicine for it, so she had to be hospitalized? Is that what this is? Whatever. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, as always. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. And let's dive right on into this, shall we?
Hey guys, so
Hey, Amber.
I've been really into this whole story time bit, so I have a
I mean, I'm sure, dude.
story for you guys. That is just a story to you guys, but it was reality for me. And
So, I don't know. I don't know. Not us being 10 seconds in and I'm already like, she's lying. She's lying.
let me tell you, it was freaking scary. So let's just get on to this bit. Okay.
Okay. I have a feeling she does these story times because people in her real life challenge her stories. You know what I mean? No one really is here to challenge her. She can just yap.
Sorry for the lighting in here. Horrible lighting, but okay. Where do I even begin? Okay, at the time I was in a foster home.
A foster home? One of the ones you got shipped around to?
I was 16, okay?
Okay. Is this not the same foster home then that you would have been in when you were 17, going back to live with your grandma? No? Okay. I honestly, with the way that the timeline goes, and she said it in a recent video, it seems like she didn't go to her grandma's first. I think she went and stayed with the aunt for a while. I don't know.
And back then, I was obsessed with MTV. Like, that is what I did. I would go to school, I'd come home and watch MTV. Like,
Okay, fair, I guess. Maybe go home or once you're out of school, maybe, I don't know, pick up a sport. Go for a walk.
hashtag lame life, okay? And
Wow, you said it.
that was when The Hills, the reality show, was like a hit, and I was obsessed. OMG, you don't even know. Okay, so I was sitting there watching the new episode of The Hills, and I paused it on the little DVR. It was
The only one that could never get into the hills. I don't know, it just wasn't for me.
actually a TiVo. We were using TiVo. And I was like, you know what? I want some ice
Wow.
cream. So I went and got some ice cream. And that was like when my binge eating and like
What does this have to do with almost dying? What?
hardcore overeating was in like full force. And we're,
Oh, that's when? Okay. What are we doing now?
it just, that's a whole other story all in itself.
Listen, I'm not doubting that she had the issues. What I find odd is there are so many opportunities and resources available to foster kids. How did she not get anything from it? Right?
And the bowl of ice cream that I got was quite big. I took a lot, let me just say that.
Oh, shocker. You didn't really have to specify that, Amber. I figured you probably did.
So I was sitting there eating it. It was vanilla ice cream, if you want to know.
Thanks. You're just going to make yourself hungrier going into specifics, so probably best not to.
And I was watching The Hills. I was enjoying my time.
Okay.
And my foster parents were not home. But my brother was home.
Oh? She was with her brother up until 16? What? That's not the story that she told before. Huh?
My foster sister and my brother's girlfriend, which was my foster sister's best friend. So they were all hanging out in the kitchen. I was kind of just like chilling by myself.
As is the case with you most times, it seems.
That happened quite frequently, might I say.
Okay, but whose fault is that? All right? Because you can't blame people if you're purposefully separating yourself. And you can't blame people if they separate from you because you're a monster. So which is it?
So I was just, watching The Hills, and I finished my ice cream, and I want to say like 10 minutes later, I started getting like the horrible shivers. Like I was freezing and I was shaking like hardcore. Like my
This is a cellulitis story, isn't it?
jaw was like,
Because this is exactly how she explained it when she got it from stubbing her toe on the mattress in the living room during the Beck era. It like caught onto her toenail, nasty, jagged nail, ew, and nearly ripped it off. Disgusting, just gross. And this is how she explained it.
and I was like, so I went in my bedroom and I got my blanket, which was a fluffy pink blanket. So it definitely warmed me up when I needed it to. And
Wow. Is that the fluffy pink blanket that we always saw her dragging around during the Crystal era?
and that wasn't working. And I was like, okay. So I put on 2 pairs of pants. That was like,
I love the little glimpses of insight into how younger Amberlynn's brain worked or lack thereof.
where my first go-to went. And my first
Is where my first go-to went. Huh?
Also thought was like, okay, I ate too much ice cream. Like, instead of just getting like a brain freeze, I'm getting a body freeze. So
You guys, how is it that every sentence just gets dumber and dumber? Oh my god.
I was like, whatever. So I put on 2 pairs of pants and I was covering up with the living room blanket and my pink blanket. And that still wasn't working. So I started just feeling kind of like not right. That is really the definition of how I was feeling. I just wasn't feeling okay.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
I didn't finish the episode of The Hills. I just went straight into my room. And at the time, my room was in the dining room. It was closed off from the kitchen. That was really the only place me and my brother could stay in that foster home at that time. And
she made it always sound like they were ripped apart. But now you were with him at least until 16? Okay. What happened to your brother then? Why didn't he go and live with grandma or Aunt Tammy or someone after? Like, what happened with your brother?
And since my brother and his girlfriend and my foster sister were all in the kitchen, they were right there by the room. And I was like shivering and I just didn't feel right. So I got under my blanket and I ended up putting on another shirt too. So I was wearing 2 pairs of pants.
This just sounds so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This just sounds so dumb. And nothing is like triggering the thought in Amber's head like, oh, is something wrong? Of course not.
And 2 shirts and my blanket. And I also had the living room blanket with me.
The thing is, though, if you were striking or, I don't know, building a fever, wouldn't that, like, shift? You'd get hot and then cold, hot and then cold. I don't know. That's how fevers are for me. I fucking hate it because you are freezing, so you cover up, and then you become hot, and so you take stuff off.
And they were in there laughing and just doing their thing. And for some reason, like, I was getting really annoyed with them.
Of some reason. Yeah, it's totally not like Amber to be super temperamental with people. Totally not. Everyone quiet. Queen Amby does not feel well.
Because I wasn't feeling okay. And I was like, can you guys shut up? Like, I started screaming at them. And
Of course you did. See, the thing is, Amber, you really make people not want to help you. You just always have to be on edge, huh?
like, they were just like, okay, like, what the hell? And so me and my brother were sharing a room at the time.
Oh, so you were both living in the dining room?
And I took his blanket and started using his blanket. And nothing was working. It was really weird. And it was a
Do you think she snatched the blanket right off of him?
pretty early night. As you guys know now, like, I don't go to sleep until super, super, super late, like 4 a.m.
That's crazy to me. I don't know how she does it. I don't know, dude. Like, even when my sleep schedule's out of whack, like, I just feel terrible sleeping the day away.
I was like that too then. Like, it's been an ongoing thing. My sleeping schedule's really off. And when I was in high school, which was then, I'd probably go to sleep about 2 a.m., but it was like 9. And I was like tired. I don't know
Oh my god.
why. I didn't do anything different than usual. So
I mean, I believe it. Amber don't be doing nothing.
as I was laying in bed, I just like fell asleep. And I mean, I must have been sleeping for a while because I woke up the next day. It was
Can you imagine how sweaty she must have been in all those layers and everything? Yeah.
the weekend and it was probably noon. And that's a long time to be sleeping. And I was sweating my ass off.
Ew. Ew. Wringing out that mattress.
Let me tell you.
Like, get a steamroller so we can squeegee it out.
So I took off. My brother still kept the blanket on me, which was super sweet of him.
Yeah, I'm sure. Totally had nothing to do with having to deal with your anger.
I guess he might have slept without a blanket. I don't really know. I was knocked out. So I took the blanket off, gave it back to him, put the other living room blanket where it goes, and then I took off my extra pair of pants, my extra
So it was the living room blanket, not Amberlynn's blanket? Hmm?
shirt, and I ran to the bathroom like the speed of lightning, and I just puked. Like I felt so sick, like
Oh.
death. And I mean, I was puking probably every hour. I didn't want to eat or nothing.
That's when it gets real dangerous. Like, listen, even if it comes up 5 minutes later, you gotta at least be drinking. At least be getting water in. Like, I promise you, you don't want to go to the hospital for dehydration. That shit sucks.
So that whole day was horrible. I was on and off shivering, on and off sweating, on and off shivering, on and off sweating. I was puking and I had diarrhea and I couldn't.
Okay, this is a lot of information. Ugh. I hate how often we talk about piss and shit here, dude. Like, what?
Eat, so it became bile and it was disgusting
Ew.
and it was horrible. I felt like someone.
I listen though, I understand what she's saying. The like dry heaving and when it's just stomach stuff coming up. Ugh. Ugh. Feels like someone's reaching their hand down into your stomach and trying to pull it out.
Bring me over, and I was like, what is happening? And obviously we all assumed I had the flu.
I don't know. That's a heavy hitter of a flu. Listen, there haven't been too many times in my life where I've been like really out of it sick unless it was dehydration. Unfortunately, I've dealt with dehydration quite a few times. It's not fun. But oh, oh, I can just think of this one time. It was the day before like my cousin's wedding, and me and my mom were so freaking sick. I don't think I've been that sick since. Like, just wiped out with the flu or whatever it was. Sick. Shit sucked.
So I went to sleep that night and I slept for 2 days. It was
Now, no one thought to wake her up. No one thought to wake the super morbidly obese girl up. You guys just let her. I I shouldn't laugh. I really shouldn't because that sounds really dangerous. But girl, how are you passed out in the dining room for 2 days? Were they just like moving around you?
probably, that's a little exaggeratory. It was
Oh yeah, go figure. I think the longest I've ever slept was like 18 hours. That's a long freaking time.
wasn't 2 days. Okay, I went to sleep that night. I slept that whole night. Then I slept that whole day. And then I slept that whole night. And then I woke up that morning.
Okay. That's a little bit more believable cuz that's basically what I pulled. But I was on so much medication for that at that point. So that's why I was out.
So it was like a day and a half. And everyone knew like I had the flu, so no one was like too worried. They weren't like trying to wake me up or anything. I do remember one.
Even if someone is sick after like the 13-hour mark, like next day by noon, I would have maybe just like shook her a little bit and been like, "Do you want some water?" Like anything. Jeez.
Point.
They were probably so freaking thankful. If this is a true story, imagine they got a full day and a half without Amberlynn talking to them. I bet it was Evan.
My brother woke me up and he was just like, "Sis, are you okay?"
I mean, fair.
I was just like, "I'm fine." Like, you know. And I did
I don't know. I would have been like, I think you should see someone. That's a little crazy.
Didn't eat at all. And when I did,
The thing is, when I pulled that like sleeping for 18 hours, I woke up and I felt so much better. That's the difference. She woke up and was nearly on death's door. Oh, damn, girl. This, honestly, this alone should have been a bit of a wake up call, right? Right? But the doctor probably said to her, like, oh, skinny people get this too. So she's like, okay, so I don't need to worry about it.
sleep those day and a half, I puked a few times. That was the only time I woke up was to puke.
Okay, so you didn't sleep straight.
And so when I woke up, my brother was there and he's like, what's going on? You've been sleeping? Like, are you hungry? I was like,
I'm sure.
I'm fine, but my leg really hurts. Like, it really hurts. And he's like, oh, okay, well, let me look. And he's like, ooh, why is it so red?
Oh. Oh. I bet she turns purple now. Sorry. Shut fast, it's a joke.
And I was like, I don't know. It's probably just because I've been sleeping and I've been laying on it weird. And that's literally what I thought. And he goes, no, I don't think so. That kind of looks like what our foster dad had. And I'm like, what?
Huh? So foster dad was getting cellulitis also? Damn.
And I wasn't sure what he was talking about. So he went and got my foster.
How does the younger brother know more just in general than Amber? Huh?
Grandma, which also lived with us, and she came and looked and she's like, ooh, we gotta tell so and so, which was my foster mom. I don't really want to use names.
Did she just say her grandma? I am even more confused now. What?
For some reason. So
Oh yeah? She'll give out everyone's personal information. I'm surprised she hasn't given out a social security number at this point. But the one thing that she has always kept absolute quiet is the information of her foster parents. I don't know. Maybe it's just coincidental. Maybe. But,
I was like, okay, like.
And she definitely did not go to the funeral. Definitely did not. I don't know if this is that foster mom, because she said she had many. But, yeah.
Why? And she's like, this is no good. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, this is what your foster dad had. And I was like, well, what did he have?
Amber's just so clueless. She's like, okay. Even if they told her right then and there, well, he has cellulitis. This looks like that. She would have been like, what's that? You know what? It reminds me of, not every little kid has this phase, but you see it a lot of times, like the why kids. Like, it doesn't matter. You could give them the answers to life, God, and the universe, and they're still just going to be like staring at you like a goldfish. Why? 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 I mean, listen, that's a good trait to have. That really is, to question things and like why things are the way they are. I get it. It's kind of like adorable when kids are like that to an extent. Amberlynn, it seems like she was just absolutely clueless. She was the goldfish child. Maybe that's what they meant. Instead of golden child, the goldfish child. Because she just looked at you with those two brain cells floating around. Playing with her rocks.
She was just like,
all views and opinions expressed during this video are just that, views and opinions.
he was really sick. She didn't really tell me what it was, and I was just like, okay. And then I went back to sleep. And The next day, my foster mom was like, okay, we're gonna go to the hospital. We need to get this figured out.
The next day? Bitch. She's been rocking it for like 4 days now.
And it was worse. My leg was swollen and it was like this hard reddish, purplish, just
I told you. I told you.
like my whole calf. Like, oh, I can't explain it. And
that would terrify the ever-living shit out of me. How is that not like a wake-up call, dude? Oh my god. That would just terrify me.
Whole night I didn't get up, right? So when I went to get up, the pain I felt, I have never in my life.
Do you think like circulation got cut off or something and the blood was starting to pool up?
Felt such pain. I couldn't walk. Like,
that reminds me of what it's like to get tattooed on your calves. Specifically calves, because the tattoo that I got the other week, that was on the back of my thigh. And that didn't hurt. I mean, it hurt. It hurt. But, like, the next day, it wasn't bad. With leg tattoos, I've noticed, and Rose, my artist, she warned me about it as well. When you go from laying down and then getting up quickly, you just feel your whole calf throbbing, and it freaking hurts, dude. It feels like your leg's gonna explode and you can't even walk on it. I bet that's probably what it felt like.
It took every single ounce of me to walk. And I hadn't showered since I got sick.
Ew. And she was sweating up in her fever dreams. Oh my god. Nasty. Nasty.
So I was like sickly stinky, just being honest.
On top of your already stink, you're all the stank that's already there.
And my foster mom's like, okay, well,
Stanky land, do the stanky land.
we need to go to the doctor and you need to take a shower first. I could barely take a shower.
Hose her down. Was this when you were still in Cali? Hose her down out in the yard.
I had to do the whole whore bath bit, if you guys.
Ew. Listen, when you've been sweating that much, ain't no whore bath gonna do you good.
You guys know what I'm saying.
Ew. God, dude.
I was in so much pain. I could barely.
She probably smelled like a rotting corpse in the dining room. Sorry.
Get in the car, could barely get out, blah, blah. So we went, they run tests, and they said, you have cellulitis. And I was like, what?
Why is every single time someone says something to her, her only response is confusion? It's just, what? I'm telling you, she just stares at people with that goldfish look like,
And how they explained it to me then was it is a infection in the blood. And
is it? I thought it was skin infection.
Like, do you have any scabs on your feet? Do you have any cuts on your leg? Like, what could have caused this? And I explained to them the only thing that I can remember happening was I stubbed my toe, my big toe, really hard on wood.
No shot. How many times has she gotten cellulitis from a stubbed toe? That's crazy. That's crazy. Your feet must be real nasty too then.
Like the day before I got really sick. And they're like, bingo. And I was like, huh?
Bingo.
Because I stubbed my toe. I'm like on my deathbed. Like, what are you doing? And they're
well, you're unlocking new levels of comorbidities because of your size, girl. That's when you know it's time to check out. That sounded bad. Not like that, y'all. Check out of the fat aisle.
Like, yeah, that's pretty much what happened. So the issue is anyone at any size could get cellulitis. But
see, they had to go and like try to make her feel better about it and not just explain the nature of it. That, like, listen, she was what, 16 at the time? What 16-year-old? I mean, maybe I'm speaking out my ass here. Fair. Feel free to tell me in the comments. Is it regular for, by all intents and purposes, healthy 16-year-olds to get cellulitis? I don't know.
the fact that I was gaining weight really rapidly at that age and me stubbing my toe caused like a little chemical reaction to happen. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a
No, Amber, it's an infection. It's not a chemical reaction. It's an infection. You know what? This is going to be a much more lighthearted video, and for that, I appreciate the stupidity. I do.
doctor. Don't know. At this point, I don't care. Like,
Medicine woman Lynn coming in hot.
but somehow me stubbing my toe caused this to happen.
Yeah, somehow. Crazy.
So they're like, we're gonna put you on antibiotics, and that's gonna clear it all away. You'll be able to eat again. You'll stop.
Well, that would have been the case, but Amber, you've admitted that you refused to take the antibiotics. So let's not frame it as if the doctors are oh so incompetent like you love to do.
Puking. You won't be in pain anymore. So what they did was they took a marker and they marked exactly the outline of my cellulitis.
Ugh.
And I was like, okay. So antibiotics.
See, the crazy thing is, they could probably do that at that point because it was still so, like, just surface. Now, like, we'd be circling the whole leg. Sorry, but, I mean, you let it go just unchecked.
I normally don't take medicine, but I'm literally dying right now. Like, because the doctor said, like, people die from cellulitis frequently, all the time, because they don't get the help they need, their temperature goes too high, etc., etc., etc.
And she claims she still suffers and gets cellulitis semi-frequently nowadays. That's scary, girl.
So, got the outline, got the medicine, went home.
What if she just had cellulitis recently and it wasn't really COVID? Oh.
I finally decided to try to eat.
She hasn't mentioned anything about actually taking the medicine, though, has she?
It was actually the next day. And I was, I've been drinking water. That's the only thing I was putting in my body. And the doctor told me that's not okay because especially with this antibiotic, I was going to need it because it was going to make me feel even worse because the antibiotic was going to make me feel nauseous. I was like, oh, great. I already feel nauseous. Like, cool. What are they trying to do to me?
Amber, they're trying to make you better. What the hell don't you understand? Oh my God. I love how they can literally be doing everything for her and it's still not enough. It's still not good enough for her. Oh my God, girl. Where does this just kind of deep-seated hatred for medical professionals come from? Like, oh my God.
And so he's like, you need to eat. And since I was going to start taking that antibiotic,
Imagine telling Amberlynn she has to eat. Girl, you have to eat. You can't do this to yourself.
day, I woke up and nobody was home because my foster parents worked a lot and it was a school day, but I couldn't go to school. And it was my first day taking the antibiotic. And so I was just going to make a cup of noodle because I was not hungry. Like I was
Ugh. Ugh. That would make me feel 100 times worse.
puking, I was in pain. I kept like blacking out.
I know it's basically chicken noodle soup. I get that. But it's so different. I'm sorry, it really is.
This is when I started getting freaked out, to be honest. My temperature was 103, which
Damn. Yikes.
isn't, I mean, that's high. That's horrible.
Amber, that's like they recommend you go to the hospital.
But it's not that crazy. So,
Okay, she clearly doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. 103, especially when you're real big, girl, you're gonna cook yourself.
when I got the cup of noodle and I warmed it up in the microwave, and when I went to take it out, I completely blacked out. Like, I wouldn't say like I blacked out as in passed out, but it's like I almost forgot what I was doing. And
Okay, so she just had some brain fog. Okay.
the noodles and the broth went all over me, boiling hot.
Oh. So this would be the second time? The second time in your life that you have spilled boiling hot ramen noodles all over yourself? Okay.
Might I say, just came out of the microwave. And thankfully I didn't get burned or anything because I didn't have it in the microwave for too long. But that's when I...
Oh no, she blames the first time on her mom. But didn't she say that she reached up onto the stove and grabbed the pot handle and that's what burned her? And then later it turned to, oh, her mom accidentally spilled ramen noodles on her. I don't know. You can never frickin' tell with Amberlynn. To be honest, they could all be separate instances. It seems like the girl was eating it 3 times a day for her entire life.
I knew, I was like, damn, like I ain't feeling good at all. So I just went in the refrigerator, I ate a piece of bologna.
Refrigerator.
I didn't even care anymore, and I ended up puking it all up, but I was taking my antibiotics. So I had to miss...
But she claims that it got so bad because she wasn't taking the antibiotics. Huh? Oh, Amby.
about a week of school. After...
Oh, that's why. She's like, I ain't going to take the medicine. I don't want to get better. Look how everyone's treating me. I'm getting the house to myself. I get to just lay around. It wouldn't surprise me.
about 5 days, we went back to the doctor because the outline they made on my leg, my cellulitis wasn't getting smaller, it was getting bigger.
And I'm sure you didn't shower, so that outline probably stayed there the entire time. She comes back, and it's still perfectly there. And they probably would have been like, we're working with something else here.
I was feeling worse. I was eating less and less and less. Like, I wasn't eating at all, but like when I got the antibiotics, like I said, I was trying to eat a little bit, but then I like stopped.
Amby, you should have counted that as a, like, you know, that silver lining. The silver lining of the situation. I would have been like, oh, I'm gonna be so skinny.
And the pain was getting worse.
That's the one thing that I look forward to when I get really sick. That's the one thing that will just, like, keep me trucking, dog, is me just being like, I'm gonna lose, like, some real pounds from this. It sounds so bad, but it's true. It's the one thing that keeps me grounded.
I was sleeping more, like everything was just getting worse. And I went to the doctor and they said these antibiotics are not working.
But there's only like 5.5 minutes left. So how are we going to go through like her not taking antibiotics or admitting it? she said before that she refused to take them, and that's why it got so bad.
I was like, oh, okay. And they said, you need to go to the hospital. And for some reason, when they said that to me, I freaked out. I started hysterically crying, and
I mean, go figure.
really don't know why. I think it's because the whole, like, people die from cellulitis, and I wasn't getting better, and, like, I hated myself, and I was like, why did I do this to myself? It wasn't even my fault. Like, everyone stubs their foot. Like, it happens.
See? See how it always has to come back to this wasn't even my fault? Yeah, Amber, that's life. Shit happens, dude. But you try to lessen it as you go along, and you never did that.
And the doctor said that my temperature was 105. And
Damn. Damn.
that he didn't know how I was even functioning. So I was rushed to the hospital, and they put
Oh, I bet she felt so special. I bet she felt so special.
an IV in me. Like,
And she's told like a much shorter version of this story before, but a key point of that story was she refused to take the antibiotics. Like, am I tripping? She said that before.
it was like a whole thing. And they said that the IV that I had, they were giving me a stronger, different type of antibiotic. So I was going to feel exceptionally nauseous, but they didn't even want me to eat. Like, they weren't even focused on that in any shape or form. They just wanted me to get better.
Wow. Incredible. It's almost like that's what they'd been doing from the very get-go, just wanting you to get better.
And
Wow, they told me to do this and it didn't work.
so they said that they're going to give me that antibiotic through the IV just so I could have that in my system faster, because I guess through like your vein or whatever, like it gets in your blood faster. Obviously that like makes sense.
Does it, Amber? Does it make sense to you?
And my foster mom sat with me the whole time, and
I bet you were a nightmare.
after I was in the hospital for a bit.
No, she was a kid at the time, like, yeah. But 16, that is the point where you kind of, start making up your mind, about your life beyond school and everything, almost. So it could have been a wake-up call. It could have. 16 is old enough to, like, have it dawn on you, you know?
They finally released me to go home, and they're like, you can't go to school. You have to rest for at least 2 weeks. You have
Jesus, she was loving it.
to get better. They prescribed me with a different antibiotic, and they said, just keep eating, keep trying to get fluids in. And instead of taking the antibiotic once a day, you need to take it 3 times a day. And I was like, oh my God. Because really, the antibiotic did make me feel worse. Really, really worse.
Well, wouldn't you rather feel worse for a little bit so that you can not be dying? I don't know, dude. Amber's probably in the hospital bed like, just let me go.
And every day I slowly got better, and I started to eat more, and I started to drink more. I was sleeping accurately. I was still in a lot of pain. I couldn't go to school. I missed about a month and a half of school.
How in the hell are you going to tell me this bitch graduated?
It was scary. It was one of the scariest things ever.
Is she going to start crying now? Amber, come on.
And something that was actually funny about the whole thing, like, my
You learned nothing from it.
leg was so swollen and so bad that when it was healing, my skin just peeled off.
Ew, that's not funny. Amber, that's not funny. Ugh. Ugh. I wasn't expecting extreme body horror. What the fuck?
Like, in big goops. It was
Ugh. Oh my God. Can you imagine what that is like now? Oh my God. No, I don't feel safe, you guys. I don't like this.
Disgusting. It was horrible. And I
It sounds like a seal with leprosy.
I feel like I had an accent there for a minute. I actually ended up getting cellulitis one other time.
Oh, just you wait.
After that, nowhere near as bad. And my doctor at the time knew exactly what antibiotic to put me on, and I was able to actually get better less than a week because I knew it was coming before it came. Really weird. Like, I just finally
That's alarming. That's alarming, girl.
knew. And
No, no wake up call though. None at all.
my foster dad and my foster dad's brother both have had cellulitis, and that's how my foster mom knew like a lot about it and knew that I had to go to
Were they overweight as well?
the doctor, and that's why my foster grandma knew like we need to get you checked.
Listen, I understand like foster mom, foster grandma. It just sounds funny.
Out. And I'm just grateful it only lasted a month and a half. I'm grateful I only had to stay at the hospital for a couple days.
Still, that's yikes.
Because my foster dad's brother actually was hospitalized for 5 months because of it.
Jeez. I bet she was hoping like the whole class would take a field trip to see her in the hospital, cards and everything. She would wake up from her fever dream and the whole room would be filled with flowers.
It's not something anyone should ever go through.
And do you know how you can lessen that, Amber? Do you know? I think you do. But, no, God forbid. Hold on, sorry guys. We're getting to the end. I just haven't got one yet.
Honestly scared me because when I was rushed to the hospital, like I could have died. 105 temperatures, really scary. And
Girl, 103. I'd be like, we're doing something.
I am very grateful for my foster mom to be there by my side the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm so confused with the timeline of the foster parents and being with her brother, being away from her brother, but now back with her brother. I don't know. But if this is the same foster mom that paid her phone bill for years, paid her plane ticket, paid for the extra plane ticket as well, you know, just paid sorry, paid for Amber so much along the way, even once she became an adult. Listen, it's none of our business to be honest, but I would be curious to know like the true tea of the whole fostering situation. But we would never get that from Amber.
And yeah, like it was scary. And it's definitely something I worry about frequently whenever I'm scratched on the leg or whenever I stub my toe. I'm scared to get it again because I don't have insurance and I don't have the money for antibiotics. I don't have the money to just go to the hospital or go to a doctor.
Well, mm-hmm. But if you were a full-time employee like you claimed you were, Amber, then wouldn't you have, medical insurance?
But I haven't had it since I was 7.
I had insurance when I was a server, and while yes, I was full-time, I didn't technically work full-time hours. So it was like touch and go. I had to make sure that I at least had 30 hours in a week to be able to get you know, continuous. So, yeah, that was easy to do. Like 5 hours a day.
17. So, knock on wood, if that's wood. Oh, Twinkie, it was me, my dog. But, yeah. So, if you guys ever, like, get those symptoms, like a flu, and you can get cellulitis anywhere, actually. It could be in your fingers, it can be your head, your eye, whatever.
Ew. Is that why it's so big, Amber? I'm kidding.
Both times it was my leg. Same with my foster dad and his brother.
So maybe get that taken care of. I don't know, but of course not. Never did.
And you could be skinny, you can be big. It doesn't matter. The fact that I am bigger is actually a culprit as to why I got it.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, but didn't do anything about it.
I don't know why I got it the second time, but it was nowhere near as bad as the first time. So I wanted to share that with you guys. It was just a really scary, traumatic experience that I went through.
Not traumatic enough, apparently. I mean, I don't mean that as like it should have been worse, but like obviously it wasn't traumatic enough for Amber to change any aspect of her life from it.
And I just wanted to share it with you guys.
Nope, now she probably just saw it as like, this is another card I get. Another card to the deck.
A lot of people this story.
The sympathy deck.
Like, cellulitis. Like, a lot of the time when I tell...
Yeah, it sounds like a horror story, dude. It goes to show, like, how many people haven't really heard of this. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't watch too many, like, 600-pound life shows, like, shit like that before I got into Girl World and the Amberverse and all that. So I had no idea what cellulitis was until Amberlynn. It's not necessarily as common as she makes it seem.
People have had cellulitis. They're like, oh yeah, I have cellulite too.
No, cellulitis, itis meaning like inflammation, I think. Your cellulite is inflamed. Yeah, makes sense. It's a skin infection.
I'm like, cellulitis is not cellulite. Like,
no, it's an infection of the cellulite.
Two different things, girl.
She is so dumb. Oh my god.
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this story time, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
Lord. At least this one was a little bit comical. More lighthearted, you know? Yeah. It can't be fire and brimstone all the time. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to get this edited and sent right out. Members, I'm so sorry it's so late. Drove back down to Jersey last night, so just spent most of today recovering after getting the new upload out. But thank you so much for tuning on in, y'all. Always truly do appreciate you guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Like and subscribe, become a tar. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.